He's an awesome guy. And he's also, and he's also an accomplished photographer and quite a storyteller. Please welcome Kurt Moore.
Get him, Kurt. Yeah. Go get him. Chicken on prisoner.
Nice shirt.
Thanks, Steve.
I asked him how long to talk, and he said, oh, 5, 10, 15 minutes. He said, I've got 7 pages. I said, well, I've got 14. So I just have jokes, no act. And when you stop laughing, I'll sit down. A man's getting in the shower just as his wife is finishing up her shower, and the doorbell rings. The wife quickly wraps herself in a towel, runs downstairs. When she opens the door, Bob, the next door neighbor, is standing there. Before she says a word, Bob says, I'll give you $800 to drop that towel. After thinking a moment, the woman drops her towel and stands naked in front of Bob. After a few seconds, Bob hands her $800 and leaves. She wraps back up, goes back upstairs, and when she gets to the bathroom, her husband asks, who was it? She says, well, it was Bob, next door neighbor. He says, oh, great. Did he say anything about the $800 he owes me? This is really bad. Ole goes into the hardware store and says, John says, well, what do you need, Ole? He says, I need to buy some 2x4s. John says, okay, how long do you want them? He says, oh, a long time. I'm building a house, don't you know? An old cowboy sat down at the bar and ordered a drink. As he sat chugging the drink, a young woman sat down next to him. She turned to the cowboy and said, are you a real cowboy? He said, well, I've spent my whole life breaking colts, working cows, going to rodeos, fixing fences, pulling calves, baling hay. Yeah, I guess I'm a real cowboy. She says, well, I'm a lesbian. I spend my whole life thinking about women. As soon as I get up in the morning, I think about women. When I shower, I think about women. When I eat, of course, I think about women. And of course, I always dream about women. Seems that everything makes me think of women. Well, they sit sipping their drinks in silence. A little while later, a man sat down on the other side of the old cowboy and said, are you a real cowboy? He said, well, I thought I was, but apparently I'm a lesbian. It was October on a remote reservation, and the Indians were asking the new chief if the coming winter was going to be cold or mild. Since he was a chief in the modern society, he had never been taught the old way, so he didn't know, but when he looked in the sky, he couldn't tell, and so he just told the tribe, to be on the safe side, that it was going to be cold and that they should go out and collect some firewood to be prepared. But being a practical guy, after several days, he got an idea. He called the National Weather Service and asked, is it coming winter going to be cold? And the man said, looks like this winter is going to be quite cold. So the chief went back to his people and told them to collect even more firewood just to be prepared. A week later, he called the National Weather Service again. Does it still look like it's going to be very cold? Oh, yes, he said, it's going to be a very cold winter indeed. The chief goes back to his people, tells them they should collect every bit of firewood they can find. 2 weeks later, he called the National Weather Service again. Are you absolutely sure it's going to be a very cold winter? The guy says, absolutely sure. Well, how can you be so sure? The weatherman says, well, I know it's going to be cold because the Indians are collecting firewood. A couple of weeks after hearing a sermon on lies and deceit, a man wrote the following letter to the IRS. I've been unable to sleep, knowing that I've cheated on my income tax, understated my taxable income, so I've enclosed a check for $150, sincerely, taxpayer. P.S. If I still can't sleep, I'll send the rest. I didn't know if I was going to tell this one, but Lou started it off, so.
Knock yourself out.
A little girl walks, you remember Marion and Clint Banks? Marion told this when she was 80 years old. And she started, and Clint said, oh, Marion, you're not going to. But she went right ahead. That's what makes it so good, listening to an 80-year-old woman tell it, and now you're listening to an 80-year-old man tell it. It's not the same. Little girl walks into an ice cream shop, orders a chocolate ice cream. The clerk tells her he has no chocolate ice cream, but it does have vanilla and strawberry and butter pecan. Oh. She says, well, then I'll have a chocolate shake. Well, he explains again, he doesn't have any chocolate ice cream, but he does have coconut and banana and cookie dough. So she orders a chocolate sundae. Once again, he tells her no chocolate ice cream, but he has coffee and pumpkin and blueberry and... The clerk then asks if she was a good speller. She says, oh yes, I'm a very good speller. Clerk says, well, how would you spell van like in vanilla? She says, V-A-N. Very good, he says. Now, how would you spell straw like strawberry? S-T-R-A-W, she says. And then he says, perfect. Now, how would you spell fuck like in chocolate? She says, there's no fucking chocolate. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I have tried for years to clean that joke up. It I used to work at Foxworth, Galbraith, and Prescott, and probably most of you know about that. At one point, the manager decided to rearrange everybody's duties. Nancy said, you'll be in charge of windows. Bill, he continued, you take care of lumber. George, you do tools. Phyllis, you'll handle lighting. John, I want you to sell roofing. And Kurt, you can be the floorman.
Oh, no.
Oh, I finally got it.
They don't know his last name, they don't get it.
Everybody here.
Oh, now do you get it? That's his last name.
I know I got it, but those that don't know his last name.
I just explained it.
He's Kurt Foreman. Yeah.
Okay, now everybody, yeah?
Is there
The man and his wife were cleaning out their attic when the man found a shoe repair stub in a coat, of a jacket or a pocket of an old coat. He said, check this out. This stub is 20 years old. I wonder if the shop still has the shoes. So the next day, went to the shoe shop, showed the owner the stub, and asked if he still had the shoes. The owner disappeared in the back for about 5 minutes. When he came back, he said, yep, believe it or not, we've still got the shoes. They'll be ready Thursday.
No,
Okay, an elderly couple went to dinner at the home of some friends, also elderly. After dinner, the wives went to the kitchen, and the two men were talking. One of them said, we went out to dinner last night at this really, really good restaurant. I'd highly recommend it. Second man said, well, what's the name? First guy thought and thought, and he says, what's the name of that flower you give to someone you love? You know, it's usually red and has thorns. Oh, you mean a rose? He said, yeah, that's it. Hey, Rose, what's the name of that rose? The guy's wife called from upstairs. You ever get any shooting pains across your body like someone's got a voodoo doll of you and is stabbing it? He says, no. How about now? Family moved into a house next door to an empty lot. Later in the year, builders started construction. The family's 8-year-old daughter was fascinated by the activities and sat on the fence every day, watching it all day weekends. Amused by her presence, the builders would smile, give her small things to do, carry a bucket between the boulders, turning on the hose, passing messages, whatever. They'd let her sit there with them, eating lunch, and the girl would essentially become their mascot, with her own little tiny hard hat and gloves as well. I know these, but I don't want to forget. At the end of the second week of construction, foreman gave the girl a little yellow pay envelope containing $5. She took it home excitedly to her parents. Mom was impressed, saw an opportunity to teach the girl about work and money and savings, so she took the $5 to the bank. Bank teller was really amused when the mother explained how the girl had earned the money and was looking to earn interest on it. She turned to the girl and said, "You worked very hard to earn this, well done. I'll open an account for you right away." The bank teller handed her the deposit slip. "You think you'll be returning to the work site next week?" The girl thought about it and said, "Yeah, if the motherfuckers at Home Depot deliver the goddamn lumber."
Tell your dad's joke about the preacher.
What?
Tell your dad's joke about the preacher and the hammer.
No.
That's a long
A
one.
priest, a rabbi, a minister, a clown, a blonde, and a skeleton walked into a bar, and the bartender said, "What is this, some kind of a joke?" How about this? There's a new support group in town for people that compulsively talk too much. It's called On and On and On. A sickly patient went to her doctor's office where she underwent a complete physical exam. The doctor said, "I have some very grave news for you. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've only got 6 months to live." "Oh, doctor, what can I do?" The doctor said, "Well, you could marry an accountant." She says, "Marry an accountant? How will that make me live longer?" "Oh, it won't, but it will seem longer." The laughter is definitely going down.
Tell your dad's joke about the thumb.
That's just for you, Jerry.
Some things should be left in
There were
private.
2 retired businessmen sitting on a beach, relaxing. The 2 strike up a conversation, one said to the other, "I'm a retired businessman. When my store burned down, I decided, instead of rebuilding, I'll just took the insurance money and retired here." Second man said, "You know, I'm a retired businessman too. When the flood washed away my store, I took the insurance money and I retired here too." First man said, "How do you start a flood?"
Oh.
Anything worthwhile here? That's it. All right. Tell your dad.
Very good, foreman.
Oh, that was.
You got the timing.
That was excellent, Kurt.